Welcome, everybody. Welcome to the show. We want to say Merry Christmas and Happy New Year's to all the people as it's coming up to the dates. We have Michael Oakland, who is the inspector for home inspections. We also have my wife, Sandra, and our good buddy, John. Hi, everybody.
Hey.
Hi.
Yeah, so we want to make sure we say holidays are coming around. A lot of things are happening. And it's starting to get a little colder now. And so some things are going around the house that we don't really think about because Tucson is pretty much a summer place.
Oh, yeah. This is like, you live in a desert, man. It's warm all the time, except when it's not.
And we know it's coming, but we're never ready for it.
No,
right?
it's like, what?
It just sneaks up on you and then punches you right in the face every morning.
Yeah. The Tucson police, a couple years ago, we had this snow flurry. They're doing like this bit on like collecting all this white powder evidence on the side of the road.
I saw
like,
that.
No. That's just water, sir. Okay. We're good.
That was a fun thing that
was
did.
very well done.
Yeah.
Creative that our local PD put that together. That was awesome.
We're going to get some insight from Michael about some of the things that inspectors are looking for and how they can help you as we go through this winterizing of your homes. I think that's the way we're going to put it. That sounds good.
Yeah, it's like a kind of bunch of series of micro winter time PSAs for how to take care of your house in the winter.
Yeah. And also, I think every time we have you on the show, we give our listeners a sense if they do have you come do an inspection, they're going to get to hang out with the funny guy.
Yeah.
So
This is true. Yeah, you got to kind of keep them reined in a little bit,
Yeah,
though. You can't let them go
true.
wild.
That's true.
So, yeah, I sent
do
you a
need
text
that.
this morning. We're talking about, hey, what are we going to talk about on the show today? And I was like, baby, it's cold outside.
Baby, it's cool.
Hey, we
They
need
started
outside.
singing.
we need to talk about that because the first thing I think that we think about is those freeze warnings and are your pipes covered?
Yeah, definitely make sure your pipes are insulated. Something I see all the time, like I'd say 90% of the time, maybe more, is people don't have their water supply lines outdoors or even in a garage or unheated space, any unconditioned space like a shed, a laundry room that's outside near a carport, anywhere. I mean, just make sure that your water supply lines that are exposed to the unconditioned air is going to be insulated. Now, most builders around here don't install insulation because we live in a desert and it's mostly warm. And so the odds of freezing pipes is extremely low, except once in a great while this time of year. I've got some buddies who do flood fire mold remediation work, and they're like, oh, yeah, we get all the freeze pipe calls and the floods. And, oh, yeah, he goes, it's just so common. So do yourself a favor, audience. Make sure you walk through your house outside and in the garage and make sure that any pipes that are exposed to the outside air are insulated.
And don't wait till it's 8 o'clock at night because when you get that warning that there's a freeze in the morning, you don't feel like going outside. It's cold out there. Nobody feels like going out and looking. So do it while the sun's
I
out
almost
and it's
feel like
warm outside.
we'll have Michael's public service announcement playing like 2 weeks from now as the pipes are bursting all over the city like they
dang
did
it,
7 years ago.
I told you so.
Hey, Michael,
Yeah.
let me ask you a question. This because I was told this a way to help avoid that, and it's probably a dumb thing, is to have your water outside just where it's dripping down. And that's just because you got water flow, therefore, as long as the water is flowing, it's not going to freeze.
It can slow the process.
Okay.
But honestly, not if it gets really cold. That's not going to. It's all that's going to do is you're going to have a longer shaped icicle at your faucet. That's all you're going to have. So you're just going to freeze it faster. Like honestly, hot water actually freezes faster than cold water because it emits the heat faster.
And our pipes don't go as far into the ground, do they? In this area?
No. The frost depth is much lower here, much shallower. So even footings on foundations don't have to be as deep because we're in a desert. So
I feel like I'm in a science class, but please go on.
Yeah. Wow. Oh, I'm doing my job. Yay.
Well,
So, yeah.
along with preventing freezing pipes, because we know water is probably one of the most damaging things to a home.
Yeah.
It's also a time of year where we're going to be starting to use our fireplaces.
Yeah, if we took like an old Aristotelian ancient like 4 elements of the nature, and we went like gas, fire, water, right, and earth, right? So we can just pick one of those flavors and just talk about it. So we've already talked about water. So we're talking about water damage. What about the gases? Okay, carbon monoxide can kill you. Carbon monoxide is an odorless, tasteless gas, does instantly liquid. It is among the more deadly poisons known to man. And I'm not talking about iocane powder from Princess Bride. I'm talking about carbon
Great
monoxide.
movie.
Oh,
Thanks for throwing that in
God.
there.
That was a far-reaching
That was-
reference there. I love that. Well done.
We went back to the 80s there,
We
baby.
can expect
Yeah.
those when we have you on the
I know,
show
I know,
for
I know.
sure.
So, carbon
Hold on.
monoxide.
You know the bad part about that is that I don't want to say this on the air, but I love that movie.
Oh, me too, right?
It's a classic, man. It's
Princess
like,
Bride, man.
oh my gosh. Okay.
You know what,
Sorry
Ray?
about that.
What were we talking about again?
I don't know, John.
Carbon
We should
monoxide.
probably
ways
get
to
back
die.
on track, right? Okay, we'll get back on track as you wish, John. As you wish. All right, here we go.
I must get my way sooner or later.
Carbon monoxide. Arizona State does not enforce typically installation of carbon monoxide detectors. I don't know why. In newer construction, they're starting to do that. But this is not something that home inspectors are required to look for. They should. Some standards encourage it, but the ASHI standards don't. So, but make sure you have a carbon monoxide detector on each floor of your house. If you have a 2-story home, one on each level, in the immediate vicinity outside the sleeping areas, typically translated within 10 feet of the bedroom doors. So if you have a common hallway with bedrooms upstairs, put one in that hallway. If you have a master bedroom on the other side of the house, put another one outside that one. So usually 1 or 2 will do it.
One thing I've seen, and I want you to talk about it. What if you have a
So your train of thought just derailed, right? I saw it. That's it. I feel like I'm
sorry,
I feel like
Ray.
I'm watching a fugitive with a train wreck right now.
Smoke,
Smoke
I'm going to
detector.
just jump in there. Smoke detectors.
you.
So we know that people think that a new smoke detector is, has
Yeah.
a life expectancy, but really it depends on when it's manufactured
It's true.
rather than
Yes.
when you purchased it. So if it was sitting on a shelf for 3, 4, 5 years,
You want to look at the manufacture date.
yeah.
Most manufacturers will say, if the manufacturer will say, if you open up a brand new smoke detector still in the box and it's more than 10 years old, throw it away, because the sensor is not going to be reliable.
Okay.
So even if it's quote new in the box, doesn't mean it's going to be reliable.
right.
So just go by the manufacture date. It's stamped on each one, just usually on the data plate on the underbelly. And if it's more than 10 years old, just swap it out, man.
ooh. I remember what I was talking about.
You, right?
Thank you. My turn.
Yeah.
Thank you. When we're talking about smoke detectors and having carbon monoxide, you can have one of those same thing that goes up in it does both of them, right?
Yeah, smoke seal combo unit.
Are they
yeah.
okay than just having the one down the bottom?
Yeah.
Usually
Yeah.
carbon monoxide thing are put on the
Well,
ground, right?
It depends on carbon monoxide is a little heavier than air. Yeah, it is, but you can. But many times by the time it's dangerous, it's actually warm
Okay.
and lighter than air because of the
Okay.
temperature of it. So it's going to rise. So it almost doesn't really matter where you put the CO detector. Some people will probably argue with that, and they can probably, launch a scientific reason why I'm wrong. Okay, fine, put it wherever you want.
They put a podcast.
Just have
out,
one
yeah.
there. Just
I
have it
would
in the
love
hallway.
to see
Yeah.
that podcast. That'd
Oh,
be
right.
really interesting.
It's like 2 nerds, like 2 ants fighting over a crumb at the picnic table.
So we've covered fire and we've covered
Okay,
we haven't got
water
to
and
fire.
smoke.
Water
Yeah,
and
okay,
smoke.
where
water
there's
and
smoke, there's
So
fire.
when we come back from the break,
Yes.
we're going to talk about fireplaces, and some prevention there.
So we're headed to the break. We got Michael Oakland of Horizon Inspection. Thanks for spending some time with us this afternoon. You're listening to the I Am Real Estate Show with my wife, Sandra Johnson, our guest host, John McClain, and myself, I'm Ray Smith. I think that's my last name.
Yeah, you're a super
His
handsome man.
train of thought derailed, but yeah.
And we're with the Indy Realty Johnson Smith team. So
They're freaking awesome. You guys need to
Yeah,
hire them as your
facts.
agents. Just do it.
Facts.
come on the other side.
Just do it.
All right, we're back with Ray, Sandra, John, and Michael. We're going to talk about winterizing our homes and what we think from a home inspection standpoint, what we can do to help our clients and what you can do to help your homes.
So, Michael, when I first moved to Tucson, which has been years ago,
Give
we
us a
can
clue.
even
Who's
say-
president then?
No,
Sorry.
I can't do that kind of math. First day in the house, burning those boxes, and there's smoke billowing all over the house.
yeah.
We had raccoons.
Yeah.
There was no spark arrestor, so we had raccoons
Oh,
living in the chimney.
Mm.
So let's talk about chimneys and
Wow.
fireplaces.
You killed Ricky the raccoon. That's crazy. Yeah. So spark arresters, man, I literally just yesterday saw of a chimney. This is another PSA, where the tree branches that were really close to the house were actually literally touching the spark arrestor on this chimney.
Wow.
Massive fire hazard. Cut that back. Make sure that bad boy doesn't light up. It's not the kind of Christmas tree you want. So, yeah, I would say with fire safety, particularly this time of year, it's time to have fires. We want to, chestnuts roasting on an open fire. We want to do all that. So open your fireplace, do the little Pilates, crane your neck around with a flashlight, and look up the flue as far as you can. Do a little gymnastics. Make sure you can see as far as you can. If you start to see creosote or like soot buildup, pay the extra money for the chimney sweep to come in there and clean that bad boy out. You do not want a chimney fire. A chimney fire is very expensive because the fire department loves chimney fires. They come out. What do? They climb on your house. They put a hose down your chimney and they flood your house. They probably are taking bets on who gets to do it because they're pretty dramatic. But I've literally talked to clients who were firefighters, and they actually enjoy it.
Oh wow,
the sick ones enjoy.
Now I was going to say you're
putting out
speaking
chimney
to
fires.
you're speaking to Raymond right now, right?
Oh, yeah,
This
no,
is
no,
not
it's like-
Sandra. This is a Raymond job right here.
Yes, yeah.
I don't
Make
do
sure that
yoga.
your chimney sweep comes and cleans that thing out.
Yeah, we're here today talking with Michael Oakland, who's from Horizon Inspections, helping you out for your winterizing things. And one of the things we're going to talk about, Michael, is you talk about winterizing your pool. Is that something that we should be thinking about?
Yeah, that's actually a really good idea. As far as one of the most simplest thing that every pool owner has their own philosophy on what they're going to do with their pool. So some are going to just let the pump run all year. They're going to keep it chemically balanced, and they're just going to let it, just set it, forget it, like a Ronco rotisserie chicken. Others want to save money. Sorry, yeah, sorry for the reference there, and the free advertisement for them. So some are going to want to turn their pump down. They're going to dial it down to maybe 4 hours and save on the electricity and make sure that the pump is still healthy and working, but they're not going to go completely silent. Not going to go quiet on it. So
When you're talking about winterizing, about putting covering on your pipes outside, that should include the pool pipes too, because they're external, right? Should they be covered up?
supply lines are going to be a little bit more sensitive because the diameter of those pipes is a little bit thinner.
Okay.
So they're going to be more vulnerable. But insulating those giant water lines for your pool pumps is probably not as essential.
Okay.
And if it's moving all the time, it's not going to freeze.
Let's talk a little bit about the holidays.
Okay.
And I know you were mentioning kind of the load on electricity and some of the creative stuff that goes on out there.
Say something that'll make them sing another Christmas
Well,
song.
I'm thinking Christmas Vacation. That's what comes to mind.
Oh man,
Say Jingle Bells or something.
Yeah. So I'd say that Trey, now my train of thought derailed,
Sorry,
bro.
my
You're
bad.
welcome.
Christmas
Yes,
song
I know it comes
statement, my
around.
bad.
It comes around.
So we're talking Christmas Vacation. Your
Yeah, so
competition
we got
between neighbors,
got the
right?
Chevy
You
Chase
got-
Christmas tree
yeah.
with the killer squirrel in it. So just make sure that if you're going to be using a lot of lighting around your home, a lot of decorations, be particularly careful about having too much of electric load where you're putting so many lights on this particular circuit that you could actually, if a circuit is tripping frequently, that's a clue. Don't overload the circuit. If you have too many lights, we don't want to leave our lights up all year and have these extension cords, which are really lightweight wires, just constantly exposed and available to. They're easily damaged. So, it's probably worth the investment to change out your lights every few years, so you're not just reusing the same old worn lights that are much more vulnerable to electrical fire.
Yeah.
So yeah, and definitely. Ladder safety is super important when you're putting lights up as well. Don't do that when there's frost in the ground.
Last week or I think a week and a half, we had like almost 4 or 5 days of rain. And with all that rain on the water, and I had my lights on the ground. And that was something that I realized it's probably not a good idea, because if you don't have every one of them connected, it'll pop a circuit breaker, because electricity, but the lights run the whole time.
Well, yeah, and if you have, this is another thing, because we never got to our fourth element, which is ground.
Yeah.
So here's our little stretch: ground fault circuit interrupter. Your outside lights, your holiday lights, are typically going to be you want it to be on a GFCI, what's called ground fault circuit interrupter circuit. If you have an older home that does not have ground fault circuit interrupter, spend the $25, get one, install it on the first receptacle that's downstream of the panel and upstream of all the rest of the outlets, and make sure that the rest of them are protected. You protect one circuit, you've protected all of them. So make sure that your outside lights, if you do have lying something on the ground and it starts to have a voltage leak into the ground, it's going to trip and you're not going to electrocute yourself.
Change a little bit about sorry, water tanks and water heaters and pumps today. Is something you should winterize those anyway? Anything you think about when it comes to those things?
Well, if you're still living in a house and using them, if you're, I mean, since we're kind of a snowbird state,
Yeah.
people are usually going to be here living in the house during the winter. Wintertime is a good time. If you're going to be doing maintenance on your water heater, it's a good time to drain it. If the house has been vacant for a prolonged period of time and the water's cold, there could be biogrowth in it, mildew, any kind of phosphates that might be conducive to kind of nasty water like you might have in a pool. Drain the water heater. Take a few hours, get the hose up, connect it to it, drain the thing, and flush it out.
Is that a Google thing?
Yep, you can. In fact, Google that, how to do it safely, how to do it right. Yep.
How long is it going to take? Because there's a lot of water, right? Depends how big your tank is.
Yeah, it
'cause they have
depends.
to fill back up.
Like most around here, the average water heater tank that I'm seeing in Tucson is around 40 gallons,
Okay.
maybe 50.
So for that month, they can expect to see a little higher water bill, but a better
Not a
water
whole
tank.
lot. I
Okay.
mean,
okay.
like filling a 12,000 gallon pool is going to cost you a couple $100, but filling a water tank isn't so bad.
So if somebody doesn't want to do the yoga neck twisting stretch and look up
Yeah.
in their chimney, you actually could be hired to come out
Yeah.
and just look at a home. And if someone's been in their house for a while, they may not think to look up and see maybe some water staining
Yeah.
or different things. So how would someone get a hold of you?
They get a hold of me through phone, area code 520-330-9703. You can text me there. You can call me there, old school, like voice to voice, human being to human being, right?
Good
Yeah.
old style.
do we still do
Yeah.
that?
Yes.
I've heard of it.
Yeah, I've heard it. Okay, good.
Yeah, you can also email me at michael@horizoninspectionsllc.com, or you can check me out on my website at that same name.
And you're working, assume, through the end of the year?
Yep. And then that's the plan, working through the end of the year.
All right.
We like
So no vacations planned. That's all I'm saying. You're going to pick up the phone and answer. So
I'll
if
be
you
in
need
church on
something,
Christmas, just so you know.
Well,
That's where I'll be. So
that sounds like a great idea to me.
We're thankful to have one of our great sponsors, Michael Oakland of Horizon Inspection, with us today. We appreciate you coming out today, Mike. So thanks a lot. You have been looking, if you're looking to buy or sell your home, if you have any questions concerning real estate, we would love to help you. Please call the Johnson Smith team. Hope I get these phone numbers right at 520-850-1725 or 520-904-7711. You're listening to the I Am Real Estate Show on 1030 KVOI.
The voice of Tucson. Definitely call Sandra. It's this Beauty and the Beast. She's the beauty. He's the beast. Call Sandra.
Yeah, and you
She's
always
cool.
say that number wrong. It's 904-7711.
77. There you go. See?
904-7711.
And call right
This
now.
train has wings. It gets back on the track.
See ya to another side. Hi, everyone. You're back to the I Am Real Estate Show. We are glad to have Carlos Aragon, who is the co-founder and CEO, and we also have Kira Reed, who is the co-founder and COO of Reach for the Stars. How you guys doing today?
Doing great. Thanks to have us.
These guys are smiling. Let me talk a little bit closer to the mic so we can make sure they can hear everything you guys
Got
have
it.
to say.
All the
Um,
goodness.
Yeah,
Get
getting started
cozy.
with Reach for the. I'm saying it right. Reach for the Stars. You guys created this thing. Tell me how it came about. Give us the beginnings of it.
How it came about, both of us had some struggles after the military and a lot of things.
Thank
that
you
we
for your
went
service.
through. No
It's our
problem.
pleasure.
A lot of things that we went through, broke us down piece by piece over a long period of time. And what ended up happening was, we both have our own individual stories as why we were doing this mission. But for me personally, I went through a very hard time being medically retired. I was put on painkillers, became dependent, then quickly addicted. 6 years later, I found myself divorced, homeless, addicted, and then ended up making the choice to live or die.
Yeah.
So I went to rehab, got my life together, but I didn't know who I was
Mhm.
anymore. That was 6
Mhm.
years of a gap.
Yeah.
And one day, I was really depressed. And one day we bought a telescope at Walmart for $40, brought it home, pointed it at the brightest thing, and it was Jupiter.
With our kids, I think that, for both of us,
Mhm.
we both had hard times. So we had to really figure out how to. He skipped a part. We met in rehab. So
That's the best part, too.
Yeah.
We have two storylines here.
we
One
do.
is
We have
the
two
personal
storylines.
life.
Yeah, that's
and-
like me and my wife. So, yeah, I get it.
So we met in rehab, but so he has an amazing story, and we both have an amazing story. But we also did this all together with our children. So
That's
keep,
amazing.
Keep going, because
Go ahead.
they had to heal from our trauma too. Trauma rolls downhill.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we bought this $40 telescope, right? I thought it was amazing. I set it up in the backyard. I knew it was going to be like a toy, but pointed it at the brightest thing, which happened to be Jupiter in winter. And I could see the cloud bands. I could see something that looked like the Great Red Spot. And it blew my mind. And for 4 or 5 hours, I was out there just completely entranced and in awe of what I was seeing, just hunting for stuff.
Wow.
Yeah,
And,
and I got to
um,
watch this. So it
yeah.
was really cool.
And I came back inside feeling completely uplifted, feeling having distractions. It's a distraction. And I realized that, maybe this is a good thing, because with the PTSD, with mental health, with anxiety and stress,
Yeah.
sometimes you just need something to do, a hobby. And it was amazing the way that it took my mind off it and made me happy and excited for the future. So we bought a bigger telescope, started setting it up at the Safeway parking lot. It was a huge hit. We made a club, and the story continues from there.
So how long ago was that you bought the telescope?
2019, 2018,
I love that. That's
end of 2018.
Yeah, 2018.
So, and then from 2018, then how long did it take for you guys to realize that this is special? This is something we want to share and grow, and we really want this to be the focus of our lives.
So that, because during that time, we both, were going through our recovery. So I was volunteering and working and doing different things at a homeless, I was a recovery coach for the homeless transitional facility here in town.
Mhm.
And so I was, I loved it. I wanted to, I could have done that for the rest of my life, but I couldn't make any changes.
Right.
I felt like I couldn't do what I wanted to do. And I think that because I have like 5,000 volunteer hours under my belt just, from the military. And so it just was like Carlos and I had this discussion, like, we're both retired military. We both need a hobby. We both love helping people. So how can we do this and make a difference?
Yes.
And so we kind of talked about it. And during that time, it was in 2020. And that's kind of where it took us about, a year and a half, 2 years.
So
to
why
make a
not
decision.
start something new during the middle of a pandemic, right?
Oh man, yeah, that was, we didn't have any deadlines. We could build it how we wanted. We could, figure out the way things worked as we went. But, we started with the food program, along with the giving telescopes to families with their food, and just kind of seeing how they reacted. And it was always an amazing feedback from them.
Mm-hmm.
And it grew from there to the homeless backpacks, and we just had these 4 programs that were all getting pretty big. And then there was 4 separate programs, so we wanted to combine it into one main program and then our events on the side. And when I say events, I mean our monthly stargazing events that we do for free, usually at Gabe Zimmerman Trailhead, and where we set up our telescopes and show people the universe.
Yeah, that's more of like a networking event to share who we are, kind of.
Oh, great.
And bring
great.
in clients and
Yes.
tell people what we do.
Yeah, and it's interesting, having 4 veterans in the room. Thing people don't really realize about us, our work in the military, is it's a lot of humanitarian work. So, when we get out there in the civilian world, we want to do humanitarian work. You know, it's
You have
kinda-
an itch for it because
yeah.
you're so used to doing
Right.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And remember when you were in, you're like, oh man, we gotta do this again. What we gotta go here? What we gotta do that?
Volatile.
I just did that.
Mm.
I need this Saturday off. I remember all those thoughts I used to have. You're like, oh, now I do it all the time. Like,
Oh, yeah.
I can't wait to go do it now.
Oh, it's yeah.
Yeah. So we're here with Carlos Aragon and his beautiful wife Kara Reed. They're with Reach for the Stars. We're going to come back and talk a little bit more about what they're doing with the community what kind of events they got coming up, and hopefully we want to give you some information on them, so you can give them a call and start working with them, and maybe you can help them out. You're listening to the I Am Real Estate Show with my wife Sandra and my buddy John. We're having a good time. You're on KVOI 1030, The Voice. When we sit here and we think about things like that, we're having so much fun and understanding with Kira and what Carlos is doing. Don't forget to, when they give you that information, and this is the holiday season, it's a good time to sit there and start thinking about helping them out, because they're doing a lot for our community, and we want to tell you thank you. That's why we brought you on the show, so people can see how beautiful you are and how beautiful your hearts are to our city. With that being said, we're going to be going to the commercial break, and if we don't go to commercial break, I'm going to sit back and cry. Welcome back to the show. We have Carlos and Kara from Reach for the Stars here to talk a little bit about their nonprofit and see what's going on next.
Yeah. So who is it that you guys primarily work with?
So our mission statement is we uniquely improve the mental health of children in the community through astronomy, STEM, and volunteer opportunities influencing the course of history for generations to come. So that's a lot, but really what it means is that our goal is to help children in the community with their mental health. And we use a unique approach, which is astronomy and STEM, because astronomy really has the opportunity to, use STEM. And then also we give them the opportunity to volunteer, to give back to the community. And the way that we do that is by feeding the community and using our homeless outreach program. So children is the program, but we also do allow the general public to come in as well. So,
And you guys have received some really great honors in the way that you've your financial accountability, the way you've reached out. You guys are, I can't think of the words for that, but when people look at you as a nonprofit, you guys are really
Transparent.
ranked very highly
Yeah.
in the way that you are handling the gifts that are given to you.
We had a bad experience at a previous organization, and we had to leave, and we wanted to do it better.
Mhm.
And so, we had the opportunity to start from the ground up, and we made sure every step along the way that we were doing exactly what we needed to do to make it as smooth and easy as possible.
How big is your staff? Is this you two guys?
Well, our board.
yes, our staff is just us two. We don't take an income, so it's just us two. And so we're volunteer, but we are the main staff that works day to day.
Okay.
And then we have volunteers, and they come and go. But as far as the volunteers, the main volunteers, we have about I would say 43, and some of those are youth. And then we also have 8 board members.
Amazing.
Amazing board members. If we didn't have them, we would not be here.
By the way, everything that we do is completely free. So like she's saying, we're all volunteers. This is what we've chosen to do with our life as a career, it's our path, it's our mission, but it's more like a lifestyle. This is what we do. This is what we've chosen to do for the rest of our life. And it's completely free to everyone. The only thing we charge for is the telescope rentals, refurbishments, because we need some way to bring in money for our overhead, for the food that we give out.
Uh-huh.
So, but yes, all the programs are free.
That's awesome. And I love that you're working specifically with kids, and especially coming out of the COVID years. I'm sure that there were more kids that have needs than what we even realize.
Yes, it was scary starting a nonprofit at the beginning of COVID, but that really boosted our clientele.
Mhm.
People started coming to us. They heard that we were giving out 2 week supplies of food completely for free with no questions asked, and it just kind of blew up from there. So it was kind of a Kickstarter for us.
Well, Raymond and I met you guys at an event that you had, and I own the Mickey Mouse purse that was
Yeah.
auctioned off there.
Uh,
And probably that is the most expensive purse I ever had. But I really felt good about
it's a really nice purse, by the way.
about giving.
I even liked it.
Yeah.
Yeah, just about
Yeah.
being able to support the work that you do. And that was really our first exposure to what you're
Yes.
doing. We had not had a chance to hear about the organization prior to that. And we were very impressed. I mean, we also know some of the people on your board, and some are new friends, some are old friends that invited us to attend the event. But you guys do use those events for fundraising events to help support the work that you're doing. Do you have any events coming up if someone wanted to come and check you out?
So we have a just a free event right now
Mhm.
because we had to reschedule a gala. But our free event is at the Malahan Castle on the 21st of January. It's going to be at sunset.
Can you tell me where that's at?
So the Malahan
It's on the
Castle
west side?
is on the west side, and it is. I'm getting the address, but you want to tell them what it is.
I believe it's near A Mountain, and so we're going to be setting up our best telescopes. We have a monster one that's almost 10 feet tall.
Whoa.
It's a 20-inch observatory class mirror. The tour that they give at Kip Peak, they use a 14-inch mirror. So our 20-inch was a donation from someone in Montana who drove it down to us, and it's an amazing telescope that really shows you details in galaxies, nebula, planets, star clusters, and more. But the address is 1939 West Malahan Drive, Malahan Drive, in Tucson.
And that's
the-
January 21st.
The
What time?
21st
At
at
sunset.
sunset.
Changes, so.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you got the Google.
Dress
that.
Fair
warm.
enough.
But our monthly event is usually the last Saturday of every month at Gabe Zimmerman Trailhead. So, but you can find all that stuff out on our website,
Which is
www.rftstars.com, as in reach for the stars.
Okay.
And you guys are very unique in what you do.
We're actually the only organization that we know of in the United States that uses astronomy, STEM, and volunteerism to have a positive impact on people's lives.
I think it's so cool that literally looking like at the universe, that you're not the center of the universe, right?
It gives you
And
a
that
very outer worldly, it gives you a different perspective on your life, and it shows you, the mystery of life itself. And it's really it's really inspirational.
Yeah.
It's fun, it's exploratory, and it's proven to help,
Carlos,
especially with mental
Carlos,
health.
do you guys do training for telescope? But I bought one for my daughter a long time ago, and when I looked at it, everything was upside down.
Yes.
And so I said, nope, I can't do this anymore.
Optics flip the view or
Okay.
the image. But yes, I train, where I give lessons, I give classes,
Great.
adult astrophotography, visual, everything. We
And
do
is that-
everything related to
Is it-
space.
Carlos, is that stuff on your site? Where
Yes.
the classes and when they can be, things
Yeah.
like that, Kara?
And we'll also do corporate parties or anything too to raise money as well.
Uh-huh.
So if you like
So-
having house parties at your house or at
Yes,
your or for
please
your
schedule
business or
for the new
team,
year.
we will come out and give you an amazing experience under the stars.
That just blew my mind a little bit. I'm already thinking about that. We got to do a client appreciation event and have them come out.
Oh, that'd be great.
well, definitely
We gotta
your
do that.
property would be a great place to watch.
I didn't
the
say it at my
stars.
house,
Oh,
okay?
It will come to
But you make a
any,
good
any
point.
location.
Yeah, I was just saying, just as a general,
Any
you need a
location.
telescope.
No, and so
Yeah.
we have a little bit of space. We're on the east side. What we don't have is seating for people. We don't have
yeah.
one of these great patios that you
Oh,
can
most,
put people.
Most people will bring their own.
They can bring their own
little
chairs,
that you take
or
to sporting events.
you're going to be walking around looking at the 4K projector, looking at the laser show, looking at the different telescopes, learning about binoculars. It's going to be, a fun, active, but also very relaxing experience,
Oh,
So-
that sounds
What I
like
would
a
ask is-
wonderful thing.
The next time you have one, invite us so we can see what it looks like and how much room you need. Because I
Yeah.
think we would love to sit there and sponsor one of those. I think that'd be a great thing to try to do.
That would be amazing.
Well, and any stargazing event, you can have 5 people, 10 people, 50 people, 150 people. Honestly, it is something that you can have as many people as you want.
Okay.
So, you know, we have 1 telescope we could bring, or we have 10. So it's very.
Oh my goodness.
Or
Yeah.
60.
Yeah, like we
What?
have a lot. Yeah. So
People have sent us equipment from all over the world helping us with this mission. So it's been a dream come true.
which takes us to the next thing.
Go, you go.
We work out of our home. So everything we do is mobile, meaning that everything that we do out in the community, we have to lug all of this equipment everywhere we go. So everything we do for the children, we have to go to each location. So we have to go to each school. We have to go to each place. Every time we have to go out into the community to do one of our programs, we have to go and load and unload. And it takes hours to do that. It takes hours to calibrate each telescope, all that stuff. So we're looking for a building. We're looking for space. We're looking for land. And we've been looking for over 2 years. And it's been very difficult. And so that's something that we just don't know how to acquire. We've talked to a lot of people. We've talked to a lot of real estate agents, commercial, non-commercial. We've even tried to buy a property out in Corona, and it fell through. So it's just something that we're just trying to acquire.
If you have a shop that's not being used, consider letting us use it. We're also looking for anything, you know, and a state donation would be the dream, but I understand that that's a very rare case. So we're just keeping our mind open, trying to find a place to call home. It's going to be a community observatory and learning center
That's the goal.
for our classes, for our events, for the kids, for the volunteer programs and everything. So
How much space do you need?
about 5,000 square feet. It's not very big, but that's the minimum to have about 10 to 15 kids per class.
Okay.
Yeah, if you think of like a YMCA, but for an observatory.
Right.
And kids can come and go and do classes, and it's free, and it's like, you know.
After school programs.
After school program, things like that. We want to make sure that you take your time and tell everybody how to get a hold of you, please.
So once again, our website is www.rftstars.com.
One more time.
rftstars.com. Our Instagram is also rftstars.
And we are also an Arizona tax credit organization.
Okay. Good. Great. Good job.
Great. So the end of the year giving, please keep these guys in mind. The work they're doing is amazing. Their hearts are as big as the sky that they're looking at. And we'll take this last second to thank our sponsors: Horizon Inspections, Indy Realty, Inspired Life Mortgage, Rigo Pest Prevention, Atomic Nutrition, and Sweet Little Chefs.
Thank you, Carlos. Thank you, Taylor, for coming.
Thank you for
Thanks
appreciate
for
you guys.
having us. See you guys.